Welcome to the Business and Beards podcast, spotlighting Miami County businesses. You bring your business and we'll provide the beards. Hello and welcome to the Business and Beards podcast. Joined with my co-host as always, Buddy, and I'm Parker. And today we've got Andrew Chapman with Blue Heron Plumbing. Andrew, welcome.
Nice to meet
He's not welcome back though. He's got a better beard than I.
It's not the first one to show us up. You got nowhere to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind being last.
I grew it just for the show.
Yes. But glad to have you on. You're one of our few contractors. We kind of focus on a lot of contractors here recently.
No, we should.
So
I mean, yeah,
it's definitely the backbone.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you don't mind, Andrew, tell us how Blue Heron came to be, because you're new and upcoming around the county.
Absolutely. Well, the company's new and upcoming, but I have been here in Miami County. I grew up in Paola, and we're raising our children right here in Miami County as well. I've been in the plumbing industry for 16 plus years. Kind of got started when we were in college and looking for a little bit of extra income.
Yeah.
And started right at an apartment complex. Started with a company, Case and Associates, and Mike Case gave me a chance. And with their property management leadership, they got me to being a plumber really quick, and I fell in love with it.
Perfect.
It was an art form. I went to school for atmospheric science, and so storm and waste management, along with weather, it kind of goes the same.
Yeah.
Work outside a lot. So.
Yeah.
But after 16 years in the industry doing property management, refurbishes to new construction, industrial, commercial, I've worked with some really great guys in the area, and now I've taken on the opportunity of being able to give back to the community.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Where did the name Blue Heron come from?
So for the past 5 years, my wife and I have been volunteers out at Hillsdale State Park in the summertime, and it is kind of a nod to the lake. We've always been lake rats, and just really enjoy our time out there. The migratory birds and just everything about that lake, the wildlife refuge is huge for us and our family. And it's been a big part of why we volunteer out there. And so the name comes from the nod to the lake and nod to the community and just kind of keeping it local.
That's awesome. That was my first thought. I was like, I don't know that I've heard a company by that name before. It's got to be something from around here, but I wasn't sure. So.
You're either here or clear over on the East Coast.
Yeah,
Exactly. So with getting Blue Heron off the ground, what have been some of your successes and maybe some hurdles to start out?
So initially the hurdle was, for the longest time, I've been in heavy duty commercial industrial construction, building some of the warehouses, helping some other plumbing business really succeed, and moving forward with theirs. And so now I kind of wanted to just take a step back and take it back to my roots a little bit, and the knowledge that I've gained with the plumbers that I've worked with in the past, I want to be able to utilize that for our community. You see that we have a lot of plumbing issues in the area when you go in for a call, and being able to have some knowledge on how to enhance that or possibly change that for them in a way that can be beneficial and cost efficient. I see that as a help for the community.
Of course.
It's something that I strive to do.
Yeah, and anytime you get to go anywhere in the community and you're known for, being a business owner, it just kind of takes a little pride, and maybe when you get to the point of where you're starting to sponsor and volunteer on behalf of the business, that kind of helps out too. So,
It does.
What's been your biggest hurdle? What's been the hardest part?
Really, like I mentioned, the hardest part was going from the rough and gruff commercial industrial environment to the customer-centric environment. The pace is a little bit different.
Yeah, that's slower, isn't it?
Just a little bit slower now. I can't say slow because I've been extremely busy and very grateful for it. But the pace is at my own, and to be able to work with the customer at their time instead of that grind, the job has to get done mentality, that's been really kind of the hurdle. I was so used to that grind that, I can take a step back. I can.
Yeah, well,
I can breathe.
nobody's telling you what to do, right? So that's what I felt was my biggest hurdle going into business ownership. Is I always had like an agenda I had to hit, and then it was like I took over the reins. It was what do I do with my hands type
Yeah.
thing, you know, so.
Yeah. Stay busy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. As long as you stay busy and you go out and you press the flesh and really get to know the community and get involved with the community, I think that that's a way to get past that hurdle.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it helps you get your name out there a little bit, and then teaches you to be a little bit more customer centric, a little bit more friendly.
Yeah.
Smile a little bit more, you know?
Yeah,
So, what are some ways that you've got your name out in the community a little bit more?
So what we've been doing, obviously home assessments is huge. If you have any type of need in your home, we're available. We're not doing the 24-hour service run, but what we're doing is your needs.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do like to do is come in, if you do have an issue with your house, do a multi-point assessment of such. Really, I'd like to go through the whole home
Mm-hmm.
and look at multiple points, whether it be the HVAC, the plumbing, just your toilet, whatever it is that the issues are. Let's go further and make sure there isn't more, right?
Yeah.
And with that, we've had some great successes of being able to go in. We go in for a simple problem, and it ends up being multiple other issues that are creating those problems. If we can address those now, preventative maintenance really goes a long way.
Exactly. Traceability is always key, especially when you do those assessments. I mean, that
Absolutely.
gives everybody the roadmap of pain points and where to hit first.
That's right. That's right. And whether it be commercial or residential, the assessment is a flat rate. We're going in just to give you a peace of mind. I'm not looking for work. I'm looking to know that your home is safe, healthy, and happy. That's the main point of a plumber. We want to create the healthy nation. It starts at the plumbing, right? No matter where you look. And so if your home is healthy, the plumbing's healthy, it's probably going to last a lot longer.
So that's kind of a different mentality than what I've heard before, and it sounds like you're pretty passionate about what you do. You know, is your intention to bring on apprentices and kind of grow that, or are you kind of going to be a one-man show for a while?
In the past, I've always wanted to have an apprentice, and I've had some really good guys that we've learned together. I wouldn't say that I taught them, we learned together. In the future, yes. I would like to make sure that before I say I'm going to take on an apprentice, that I've got more work for them than they can handle.
Yeah, I can afford to pay them, right?
Yeah,
You know,
of course.
you know, that's a big fear for sure.
I think that that's the only way that we keep the trades alive.
Mm-hmm.
We have a serious issue here in the nation, you know, where the shortage of plumbers is 22,000 plus, right? And we need them now.
Mm-hmm.
The older generations, they're getting to a point now where they're losing more than they're gaining, right? We're starting to lose more successful master plumbers out in the trade every single day than we're gaining. And that's a scary factor,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be union, non-union, independent contractors, independent residential plumbers, they're not showing up. We need to get the younger kids out there. We
Mhm.
need to be able to educate them in a way that they're learning and gaining
Yeah.
at the same time.
I think the older generation might have been a little gruff too, so it kind of
Yeah.
it was kind of a little scary to get into,
Yeah.
right? So I think with your upbeat, positive mentality, and that was my first thought is, man, you got to start talking to people about that, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's an awesome opportunity. It's maybe less scary to get involved nowadays, but people just maybe don't know that.
Yeah.
You know, my dad's a welder, and my grandpa worked in HVAC for a while. It's like, I just don't know if I have the responsibility to go in and do something like that without messing it up. And
Right.
having that leadership, I think, goes a long way.
You know, and I can tell you this, I was taught by old heads, right? They were rough. They were gruff. I have the ultimate respect for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They kept me alive. There was a reason they were the way they were, right? There was a reason they got onto us when we were acting up and young. It means a lot to me now, but there is. The mentality shift has changed. The generation gaps have changed. The way the new generation has come aboard on the workforce, it's a little different, right? It's not that it's difficult, it's that you have to be open-minded and you have to listen to them,
Yeah.
right? Just as they're being told that they get paid to listen to you, listen to them.
Yeah.
Listen to what they have to say. It's amazing how quickly they do learn.
Yeah. No, that sounds great.
But that approach you're going forward with is more relationship building. It's actually business development. It's not just straight selling. You want to see this community, county people thrive with what they're doing. And I think that's a wonderful approach. You might not get the sale this time, but it's just like Buddy does as well, and hopefully with me. When you guys have that approach on wanting to help a customer out, not just sell them and be gone, you're wanting to grow the community in our area.
Right, absolutely. And that's the total intention too, is I'm here for the long haul in the community. Not just the Miami County community, but our local region, right? We have a lot of great people in the Miami County, Franklin County, Anderson County areas, that when a plumber is called, they're probably coming from the big city just to be able to get that call.
Well, and you get these like Angie List and like, we had to call, and this is a different thing, but we had to call a locksmith and we didn't know who to call. We just moved to the area. We Googled locksmith and it connected to this company that has like 150 different contractors.
Right.
And then after they left, we had an issue and we couldn't get a hold of them again.
No, it was a whole new contract.
And so it's insane. And it's just one of those things where it's like, where is the self-accountability? And frankly, it's in the small business owners in the community who care about what their name means in that community.
Absolutely. And with that care, I've put my name on it.
Yeah.
So with all of my parts and service that I include with any work that I do, that comes with a 1-year guarantee, no matter what. So anything that my company is going to do, we're going to make sure that you're taken care of for that 1 year, right? Anything that the assessment is going to give you, you're going to have a 6-month guarantee on the price bid. So if there is work that has to be done, the price that we give you the day of the bid is the price that you have for 6 months. Of course, if the economy changes and in that 6-month time frame nothing ever gets done, something more is going to go wrong.
Yeah, correct.
So we're going to need to reassess that situation and make sure that the price stays the same.
Yeah.
But we want to put our name on the product, we put our name on the principal, and that comes with that warranty.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. What kind of things, because we see it a lot, right? Everything changes in price, but what kind of things affect how much you charge a customer? Like, say it goes by a year and a half, and maybe they got a quote for 5 and now it's 7. What causes that increase? And so people can kind of understand that things do cost more money for a small business owner to operate.
Absolutely.
What kind of things increase to cause that to go back to the customer?
Well, as you know, per job, it depends on liabilities. So your umbrella policy could change.
Yeah.
That immediately right away. Materials is your number one. That changes daily.
Okay.
Daily. It's more of it's almost like fuel, right? You're going to see it flow with the ebbs and flows. But we do know that we're dealing with tariffs right now. Majority of plumbing products come from overseas.
Okay.
There are not very many products here in the United States that are made here in the United States. They may say made in the USA, but those products.
That means they're just glued together in the United States,
correct.
right? They're not
Assembled.
They're not
assembled in the USA. We have some wonderful, wonderful companies that are starting to produce products here in the United States, but that, as we know, comes with a cost.
Correct.
So if you're going to buy American, you're going to pay the American price. And I completely agree with that. But unfortunately, most of our plumbing products do come from overseas, and we're having to wait for those products. The product pricings, they change daily. And unfortunately, with plumbing products, what we see is the price changes in the upward bounds, but they never come back down.
Yeah.
Once it's set on the higher number, you get a sale, but the price never changes.
Well, if people are used to paying it, they're going to charge it, right? If they're okay with it, and,
Right.
and that's kind of crazy. So in reality, that 6-month guarantee could cost you quite a bit of money.
It could.
You
It
know,
absolutely
it's
could.
one of those things where
Yeah.
it's truly about the customer, not about yourself.
It is about the customer, and the thing is if you do the job right the first time, you're guaranteed to get the second job.
Yeah.
Period. All you have to do is do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Be professional, show up on time, be able to communicate with that customer about what the actual need is instead of just overpricing it or blowing up the problem as a whole.
Yeah.
And just actually getting their problem taken care of and building the rapport. It's what it takes to build a good company around here anyway.
Well, and nothing about what you just said was be the cheapest person every time, right?
No, and I can tell you this, like most things, you pay for what you get with plumbing. I didn't learn cheap plumbing. You're not going to get cheap plumbing. You are going to get quality plumbing at a quality price. And you're going to get a quality warranty with that plumbing. Is it going to be the highest price in the area? No, absolutely not. But it's going to be what it should be. It's going to be a fair price.
Yeah.
Priced for the market.
Absolutely.
I get you.
Absolutely. It has to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to be competitive, but you can underprice yourself and play yourself right out of business.
Exactly.
You can.
Well, and you get to these $1 million, $2 million houses out in the country. They don't want the cheapest price. They know that they pay for what they get. So
Absolutely.
if you undercut your services, you're kind of undercutting your value. And the last thing you want to do is bring less value to the table than the other guy, right?
Right. Well, and at the same time, we don't want it to feel that there is a certain customer that we're looking for, because it's every customer.
Yeah.
Okay. Although the $1-2 million homes or the multi-million-dollar warehouses, the commercial tenant finishes, those are ideal, right? But the tenant that just needs their flapper replaced and doesn't know how to do it, there, give me a call.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely. Absolutely, give me a call and we will get there as quick as we can.
I think I'd be that tenant because I don't know what a flapper is.
Yes.
So we've talked a lot about Blue Heron. What do you do when you're not on the clock? Because I know you have a family. It's getting set to be a busy time of year for you, if I recall.
Yeah, so you know, now that I did get to start my own company, the one thing that I absolutely told myself that I would do first and foremost is coach one of my son's teams. And I got the opportunity to help with his baseball team this year. So that was huge.
Very cool.
Took some time to do that. Obviously, like I mentioned before, I've been a volunteer out at Hillsdale State Park for several years. That takes up my summer. We've built a couple of disc golf courses here in Miami County, but the one at Hillsdale State Park is fairly large, and I have to maintain that, as well as the trail system that we put in over there. And so my summer times are pretty well spent freely on a lawnmower.
I get it.
Yeah.
So that's not all of it, though. I mean, you guys got stuff quite a bit with award-winning hogs, maybe?
Yes, yeah, we do. Yeah, trying to stay humble on that. My daughter does. She has gotten pretty big into the show circuit with her hogs. I'm really proud of her and my wife, as well as her family, for helping educate us and get us in the right direction. Obviously, that is a busy world, you know, and my wife does an absolute wonderful job of maintaining what needs to be done in that field. So I'm just the laborer in that, you know, and I allow her to really take the reins on that, because that's her ball game.
So what's the goal of showing pigs? Is it for breeding, you know, to sell breeding rights? Is it to sell the actual hog itself? Like, what's the goal?
There's several goals.
Okay.
And I can truly tell you that every judge that you listen to, it's a different goal.
Okay.
It really is. So what I see as what I would say as an outsider is that the main goal is to drive the market, whether it be the breeding market or the actual hog market. They're looking for particulars. Each year those particulars are changing, right? And that particular changes with the drive. What the judge wants, what the judge sees, what we start to see in the final shows of the year. And then that outcome, it changes when the breeds come out the next year. We're seeing that transition again. As I'm seeing it, they're going back to another style of raising the hog, and you're wanting maximum production out of your breeding gilts, and of course the prime production of your barrows. And they do have multiple different sides. They have the boars, they have the barrows, and the gilts, which is your female pigs that haven't bred yet, haven't become a sow, and that market there is huge. You know, when you get out there to show and you see your daughter on the chips, and I mean, that time is right, you know, and the judge is calling it out, and she's not showing a cross, but by God, she gets picked, you know, and it's an exciting moment, you know. It's a proud moment as a parent. It's a proud moment to see the showmen really take pride in everything that they do. It requires so much work every single day. You know, in the morning they're there taking care of the pigs. At night they're driving the pigs and lotioning and cleaning, taking care of the pens. I mean, it's not just raising a couple of hogs out in a pen.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, that effort speaks a lot to how you're growing with Blue Heron. I mean, that's one of those things you should be proud of what you've started and things like that as you go forward. So that's something that definitely focus on. So
What's
I appreciate
your
that.
What's your goal to in 2025? Do you have one? Have you put it out there? You kind of have a vision board, or what's your goal?
Man, so right now we're just on such a wild ride. It seems like every chance that we've had a moment to go, okay, what's next? Something just falls in and we keep moving forward. So if we can keep rolling the way we are, my goal is to keep rolling the way we are. I do want to see myself get into some commercial tenant finishes. I was in commercial, but that will take me away from the customer.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of torn still. You know, I really am enjoying taking care of our community. And so if we can just keep doing that,
Yeah.
I'd be happy.
That's awesome.
fantastic. So how do others find out about you?
So we're online. You know, I don't have the fancy website yet, you know, but we are on Facebook. We got the Instagrams and we are on Google. You can find out our information on Facebook. Just look up Blue Heron Plumbing on Facebook, or you can give me a call at 913-710-3447.
Perfect.
Little plugless.
That's the goal of this. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, but you can give me a call anytime. You know, if it is an emergency, please don't hesitate to call 24/7. I am willing to. Let's talk through it. Let's get you calmed down. Let's get the problem assessed.
Yeah.
Move forward.
At least turn the water off for
That's
now.
it. That's it. We can get you to where your water's off, and let's get it to where we can take care of the situation and look forward to helping our community.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Drew, thank you for joining us today. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate your time.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Keep Miami County growing.
Good work.